Lenore, Khoubesserian with the Medicare Authority, and today I wanted to go over something that has been cropping up more and more with potentially new clients and existing clients, and that is what's going on with Medicare. I'm not really sure about Medicare. Is it going to be here? What are they doing with Medicare? And I really wanted to get down to the hard facts of what is really happening with Medicare. What's really going on? Because there's a lot of speculation, there's a lot of rumors, people talk to friends and family about Medicare and they get a lot of misinformation. And one of the things that we do here at the Medicare Authority is we do our best to stay on top of all the things that are actually happening, not the fake stuff, the real stuff, not the sensationalized stuff, what's actually happening with Medicare. We try to get that information as accurate as possible, and then we pass it on to you. So if you are an existing client, you will get newsletters from us every once in a while. You'll get letters as well, just keeping you informed. And of course, we have our YouTube and Facebook account where we'll post things that you can accurately get facts. Of course, you can always call us. You can go to Chat with Lenore and schedule an online account with us. So if you like the content of what we're going to talk about, I strongly suggest you share it with your friends and family so that they too can get the straight facts, not all of the crazy rhetoric that you hear in the media. So I'm going to go ahead and make myself a little bit smaller, and I want to share with you how we actually get the real information. And we're going to talk about that. So here I am, I'm a little smaller. And most of you, if you're like me, you're going to go to Google or you're going to get your information from the TV. Okay, so if I go to Google into my search bar and I go to Medicare News 2025, I get an AI version of some of the changes that have happened with Medicare, which is, that's okay. I also get something from United Group, which is the New York Times. I can see some videos from CNBC, then the new rules. But what I really want is the government websites. This is what I want to get to. And this is what you want to get to when you're looking for what's really going on with Medicare, okay? So when I want Medicare, this is Medicare.gov. This is the Medicare and You Handbook. This was something that was issued April 7th, 2025. CMS finalizes 2026 payment policy updates. I want to know what that means. So I'm going to click on this, and this is something that has actually happened in real time. Okay, so CMS finalizes the 2026 payment policy updates for Medicare Advantage and Medicare Part B. Today, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid released the calendar year rate announcement or increase for the Medicare Advantage and the Medicare Part D drug plans. They're increasing funding by 5.06%. So now I've already read this article and I kind of pre-screened it, and I know what this tells me is that Medicare is not going away. A lot of you think, oh, they're going to cut Medicare, things are happening, they're going to take it away. No administration, whether it's the current one or the past one or the ones we have in the past or even in the future, are going to want to eliminate Medicare and Social Security. It would be political suicide, and it wouldn't be the correct thing to do. Now, we can go into a long discussion about ethics and beliefs and all this other crazy stuff, which I'm not interested in this discussion today. We're talking about what's really happening. Medicare is not going away. In fact, the government is recommitting by putting more money into the system for Medicare, and specifically for Medicare Advantage and the prescription drug plan, okay? They go on to say in this article, and this is from the government themselves. It's not, one of the news stations Fox, CNN, MSNBC. It's not the New York Times. This is CMS, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, okay? It says, the actions taken by CMS help protect beneficiaries and taxpayers from waste, fraud, and abuse, while also driving access to high-quality, affordable health care through Medicare Advantage, okay? So the government is they are committed to Medicare Advantage. They're not pulling out of it. They're not pulling out of the funding for that. So what they're doing is they're focusing on the waste, fraud, and abuse in our systems. And let me give you an example. We just put out a little podcast or a little bit of a video on how we're now going to sign up for Social Security by going directly to the Social Security site. Those of you who are brand new to Medicare and Social Security will sign up on the site directly or in person. They are cutting back on some of the enrollments by phone, things you can do by phone, because there's more ability for someone to impersonate you and say they're you and fraudulently change your banking information by phone. So they want to eliminate that by pushing people through to the online site or going down to the local office in person for Social Security. Now that doesn't mean you can't do things by phone. Medicare themselves, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every single day of the year, by 1-800-Medicare. So you can call them to find out how is my claim paid, etc. So let's go back to this article right here, where they're talking about waste, fraud, and abuse. And I want to share a story with you from one of my clients who has been on Medicare for a while, and she shared with me that someone got a hold of her Medicare ID somehow and started submitting claims using that Medicare number at a doctor down in Georgia or Florida or something like that. And she's like, why is that happening? I don't live in Florida. I live in New Jersey. And it was for a catheterization that she was getting monthly. And Medicare was being billed for this catheterization, and they were paying for it under her Medicare ID number. And she's like, well, no, that can't be the way it is. That's not what's happening, because I'm not getting catheterized. So she called up Medicare and said, this has got to stop. Medicare's like, gee, we really can't do anything. So she tracked down the doctor that was billing Medicare for this fraudulent claim. And she gave that to Medicare, and they were able to cut that down, and hopefully they pursued this doctor who was fraudulently billing them for service that she never had done. Okay, so that brings me to something else that's important. Not only do I want to get the information directly from the government themselves, I go to the .gov sites, Medicare.gov, socialsecurity.gov, SSA.gov, CMS.gov. Those are the sites I want to go to if I want real information. But we, as people who are on Medicare, get statements from Medicare showing us what the government is paid for our claims. We also get them from the insurance companies paying the claim. So if I have a Part D drug plan, or I have a Medicare Advantage plan, the insurance company is sending me what's called an explanation of benefits. And a lot of times, we put those in a pile. The stuff we get from the government, we put in a pile. We put our mail in a pile because we got things to do. But I would encourage you to throw all the other garbage out if you're not interested in reading that. I would encourage you to open the stuff that you get so you can check to make sure it's correct. That's one way we can help. We can all be part of the process of cutting some of the waste and abuse with regard to Medicare out of the system. So my client, she just happened to look at it and say, what the heck is this? I did not go for a catheterization down in Florida, so this is completely wrong. And so she fixed that, okay? So the government this article here is telling me that Medicare and Social Security are not being sliced or cut, or money is not coming out of the system. It tells me they're actually putting money into the system to fund it. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the other things here. Okay, Trump signs executive action to lower drug prices. Well, that could be a good thing, but this is coming from NPR. This is coming from Reuters. Trump signs healthcare executive order that includes a win for pharma companies. So this is telling me that it's a win for pharma companies. How do I know that? That's a little bit of clickbait, and it's trying to demonize the pharma companies, okay? If you didn't know it, we get a lot of our prescriptions from overseas. We get our meds, they're manufactured overseas and they're shipped here. I've had clients say to me, I will not use this pharmacy because they're getting their drugs from this country, not that country. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. So one of the things that we're attempting to do, or the government is attempting to do, is bring manufacturing of our prescriptions, our medications, back here in the States, and that gives us a greater control on where the ingredients that go into our prescriptions come from and how they're being dispensed to you. So maybe it's, when we look at it, it's a win for the pharma companies. We want to encourage those pharmaceutical companies to make the products here in the States, okay? So I really strongly suggest that we understand that when these articles come out, what they're doing is they're trying to sensationalize things to get you to click on the rhetoric that they're pushing through, okay? Fact sheet, this is from the White House. Okay, this is from the White House. Fact sheet, President Donald J. Trump announces action to lower prescription drug prices. So, over the last couple of years, it started with bringing the price of insulin down. That actually started with Trump, and it continued with Biden. So both administrations were committed to making the Part D component drugs better for you and I through Medicare. They weren't looking to cut it back. They were looking to make it more efficient, okay? So the fact that any president or Congress or the government is working towards making what we have more efficient, saving money in some way so we could get better products and not pay as much when we go to the pharmacy to get our meds is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. So I want you to realize that, okay? So insulin's now $35 a month. If you get multiple, if you get 3 months, it's capped at $35. And then this year in 2025, we've capped Part D drug costs to $2,000. And that is really a good thing. We sent out a letter in July of 2024 letting our clients know that we were going to have some big changes in the Part D drug plan. And so we sent out information that was what we know, not what we think is going to happen. Well, we can speculate a little bit, but not to try to scare the heck out of you. That is not our job. Our job is to inform you of those facts so that you can stay in front of things, okay? So this comes out from the government. It's a fact sheet. This is the cost of Medicare this year, okay? So the Medicare Part B premium, it increased to $185 a month. Those of you who are in a higher income bracket will pay more. Then they go on to talk about, what they call IRMA. And these are the fact sheets. This is actual change. This is what Medicare looks like. It is not, these, organizations that Investopia. 9 major Medicare changes for 2025 and how they impact us. Now, I personally do read some of these articles because I get information from that. I get updates from CMS and I get information pushed to me regularly so I can stay on top of it and give that information to you. Another great place to go is going to be directly to Medicare itself. And I go to Medicare.gov. And when I go to the main landing page of Social Security or Medicare, I'm going to be able to go into these sites to get actual factual information. Here we go. This is Medicare's site. If we're looking to create an account online, we can. If we're shopping for plans, this is where we go. And typically, if I'm looking at prescription drug plans, I'm going right here for you. I'm checking that because, we are contracted throughout the United States with multiple companies. We are with the major insurance companies so that we can offer our clients the best product at the best price for you personally. That's our job. That's our goal. Sometimes we can't be contracted with every company to sell you every product because the insurance company themselves may say we're not using outside agents. And in that case, we still want to go directly to the Medicare site, medicare.gov, so we can help you find the correct plan. So I want you to know that although we don't represent every insurance company on the planet, we do our very best to represent as many as we can to give you the right selection. But we're talking about how do we know what's real and what's not real and what's not happening, okay? Here we go. We talk about the $2,000 cap on Part D drug out of pocket. Whether you have a Medicare Advantage plan or a Part D drug plan, you will not pay more than $2,000 on prescription meds for 2025. So this was a great change the government made. It did cause some shakeup in other areas, like maybe drug plan prices went up, certain prior authorizations on medications, it was a little bit more strict. So the change did bring some things about that were mostly positive, but for some folks, maybe that got caught in an old plan and they didn't pay attention that they should have changed their Part D drug plan. But for the most of us, when our drug plan, they eliminated the donut hole or the coverage gap, that was a big deal because now I won't pay more than $2,000 for my meds, okay? Then they go on the court decisions about non-discrimination. But here is also another way that I get important news and updates. I put my email address in here and Medicare sends me articles. The most recent one was on lung health and that sort of thing. One was on vaccines. Most vaccines are covered at no cost. So then they had one article on fraud and abuse and how you can avoid that and what you should do to report it. So this is the site I'm going to go to. Okay, this is what I want to use as a reference source. I don't want to just pull up some BS article that maybe isn't true. Okay, so now I just Googled Medicare news. Again, all over the news about Trump wanting to lower price and win for the pharmaceuticals and the Welcome to Medicare site, the latest. Let's see what else we got. We got some videos here, and again, Dr. Slin's labor Medicare pledge. I try not. This is from Australia, so this is not even us. This is not even the United States. Centers, this is CBS News, today's updates. Well, you can read these updates. Your friends and neighbors might read these updates, but really what I want to do is go to the Medicare site, okay? I want to get the .gov sites telling me what's really happening. This is the newsroom homepage, okay? This is cms.gov, and then this is their, sorry, my mouse is going all over the place here. Yep, and so this is the latest and greatest from cms.gov, Center for Medicare and Medicaid, and they're sharing Dr. Oz's vision for CMS, and these are some of the things that they're talking about. And nowhere in these articles do I see them saying they're cutting Medicare. They're eliminating Medicare. So I want you to just calm down and understand that the government is reinvesting in Medicare. Now, they're trying to eliminate fraud. They're also trying to eliminate fraud in Medicaid, which is not Medicare. Medicaid is a low-income subsidy for people under 65. Some of you may have Medicare and Medicaid together, which is a totally different thing, okay? So I appreciate you guys listening to this, and oops, my dog is barking. I wanted to put this together so that we could really get the facts on Medicare. And I do apologize. I don't know if you hear my dog barking in the background. We are recording this in the home office, and if you'd like to set up an appointment to talk to me about Medicare, you can go to chatwithlenore.com. Lenore@lenoremazenko.com is our website. I'm on Facebook. We have other YouTube videos. Again, like and share. If you like and become part of the channel, then we just push these videos out to you. 844-633-5239. That is my phone number. I appreciate you guys, and please just calm down. Medicare is not going away. Thanks so much.
Thanks for listening to another Medicare and More with Lenore. Please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Please like, review, and rate us, because that not only allows you not to miss any future episodes, but it allows other people to find us. Additionally, you can email us any topics you want to go over in the future, questions you might have. You email me right at Lenore@lenoremazenko.com. We look forward to giving you more important information about Medicare in the future.